All right, welcome everyone to our Monday, April 11th, Monday Director Chat. It is my honor to introduce our speaker, Cindy Sparling. Let me tell you a little bit about Cindy. She's pretty amazing of what she's done in her business in the last 27 years. So you can imagine in 27 years, you see changes, right? And Cindy definitely has, I'm going to use the word that home office loves, is pivoted her business throughout those 27 years, raised four children, crazy busy schedules, husband who traveled. So she had really every excuse to not be successful. But Cindy will tell you one of the things that she really needed was something for herself. And she really has transitioned that part-time business to an amazing business. Over 800 consultants on her team, 29 organizational directors, sales of $1,729,000 in sales, with career recruits of over 440 recruits. So she has definitely transitioned her business as needed, through personal, through family, through also Facebook, and then of course bringing it back to her love, which is the in-home party business. Cindy's going to share what some of her strategies are, her success tips. I asked her what was her highest in-home party. You guys get ready for this. $7,391. Okay. So I know that Cindy shines. She's an amazing leader, also a really excellent trainer. So Cindy, thank you so much. I so appreciate you spending time with us this morning.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Donna, for that glowing introduction. So yes, it's been quite a journey over the years. And I grew up with Pampered Chef doing live parties. That's all we had really back then, were the live parties. And when I started, I did 2 to 3 live parties a week. And it wasn't easy because I did have 4 young children. I still had a preschooler when I started. So my husband traveled pretty much Monday through Friday. So it was me and the kiddos all week long. So I had to hire a sitter for every party. So not only did I have to get homework done and make sure they had food and everything was ready for the next morning, if I had a party, I had to go pick up a sitter and get her back to my house and then get her home when I got home. So I kind of had to figure out how to make this work for me. So what I did was analyzed all my kids' activities. I made like this master calendar of everybody's activities. And I had things every single night of the week. I did not have a single free night. But Tuesdays was our lightest night. The only thing we had was a couple kids that had swimming on Tuesday nights. So I literally hired a teenager up the street to drive my kids to swimming. Now, I know that sounds crazy. Some of you with young kids may be thinking, what? But, I wanted so badly to make this work. I just had to prove to myself and to my husband that I could do this once I got started. I did not want to fail. So I didn't let the excuses get in the way. I figured out how to work around them. So anyway, that's kind of how I started in this business. I did shows on Tuesday nights. I did shows on Saturday mornings. That was it. That was all I offered. And if they couldn't do one of those times, they didn't have a party with me. And it was amazing how people would work around my schedule when I put it out there that this is all I could offer. But I did do a ton of daytime parties. I was kind of the queen of daytime parties. My very first party was at 11 o'clock on a Monday morning when the kids were in school. So I've always done daytime parties, and I've kind of gotten back to that again. So I'll kind of get into that in a minute. But the other thing I had to do to really make this work for me, it was so chaotic and crazy trying to get out of my house to go to a party, that there was no way I could be packing up products to take. I mean, that just was not happening. It was all I could do to get out the door. So I just decided I was going to get duplicates of the key products that I wanted to take and show to my parties. And so I kind of planned it so I could do a variety of recipes without having to pack and unpack different products for each party. And that stuff has lived in the trunk of my car for about 27 years now. It's just been updated every season with new things. I take some out and I add some new in, but my rule has always been 2 trips from the car. I will not make more than 2 trips from the car carrying stuff in. And if I do, I'm taking way too much. I probably take too much as it is. So I've also moved my business twice. I started in Atlanta and moved to Texas probably about 2 to 3 years into my business. So I had to start all over here. And then 2 years ago, I moved again. My husband and I have moved to more of a lake community, kind of retirement type area. It's not a retirement community though, but we're in a very remote area, about an hour outside of Dallas. And then COVID hit. COVID hit the month after we moved. So I literally spent a year knowing nobody in this new community. Luckily, we were able to thrive off those Facebook parties during that time. But as they started lifting the COVID restrictions, I realized I was bored with online parties. I wasn't really having any fun sitting in front of a computer monitor all day long trying to keep up with these people. And then we started having all the Facebook issues. And I thought, between all of that and me not knowing anybody here, I've got to do something live. I've got to meet people in this new area. So I asked one of my neighbors to host a party for me, and she graciously agreed. What I did not know at the time is she had never even been to a Pampered Chef party. So she was clueless. And it ended up, she was a pretty difficult host. I kind of bribed her with, let's do this fun little happy hour and blah, 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 blah. And I was going to do a little charcuterie class for her friends. So she agreed to this. Next thing I know, she spent like $250 on groceries, and she's calling me going, you should have warned me, blah, 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 blah. And I had to really work my way through this with her. It just brought back a lot of old skills that I had forgotten with the online business. But she went and bought like 3 times as much stuff that I told her to get. She bought all this wine and stuff. And I'm going, whoa, Fran, whoa, no, you shouldn't be spending more than about $30, $35 on this event. So save all that wine. Don't put it out. We'll make a sangria. We'll use 1 bottle of wine. We'll make some sangria punch. And, we really cut back. We did a charcuterie class, and I made a little olive tapenade to go along with it. And I'm going to tell you what, these people poured in her house. I think she had people show up that she didn't even know were coming. It was just nuts. But it was a $3,657 party. Okay. My first live party back after probably 4 years of virtual parties. So another neighbor booked a party from her party, and it was a $5,000 party. Okay. And she's doing a Help with Cancer fundraiser in October for me. Now I'm wondering if I should move that up to May. I may have to call her on that. But anyway, it didn't take a mathematician to quickly realize how many online or virtual parties I had to do, where I sat there all week long, every single day, trying to drive interaction, trying to keep people engaged, versus doing one of these parties that took, 3 to 4 hours of my time all together, and I'm done, and I'm walking away with thousands of dollars in sales. Now, I do think it helps that people have been stuck at home for so long, because these people wanted to connect. They wanted to see their friends. They wanted to have an excuse to get out and get together. And I made them very social. I don't try to control people. My parties are somewhat bedlam. I'm gonna walk you through it in a minute, but I just want people to feel like they had fun when they came. So I've had to learn to let go, to not try to control everything the way I want it to go, that half the people may not even be listening to me. But hey, if they're pulling out their checkbooks and their credit cards, that's fine with me. They're having fun, So just keep in mind, if you've never done live parties, it may be a little different than what you're used to, but mine are just super simple. I mean, you don't have to have a lot of specialized training to do what I do. So anyway, I made the decision that I was going to move forward with doing live parties, because I could do fewer parties and I could really focus on making them good parties and not having to spend as much time trying to run these online parties. So that's kind of where I am right now in my business. So I'm going to tell you how my parties typically work, so you can kind of try to imagine or visualize this party. And those of you that have done live parties and been around for years like me, you're probably not going to learn anything new. Okay, let me just warn you, it's probably stuff you've all heard before. But these are primarily older women Okay, I would say some of my guests are a bit older than I am even. And when I first ran this first party, I got a little bit of that old pampered chef, been there, done that kind of thing. Like, oh, we did that years ago and blah, blah, blah. But what
Are we recording? Recording? Like,
looks like we are. I think we are. I see the little recording thing on my screen.
we're recording.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I did not see the recording thing on my screen. I was
Okay.
panicked.
I
I
think
was
it
like,
is.
this is what people need to see from my.
So going back to what we were talking about right before we started with my party is a lot of these are older women. A lot of them are older than me. Some are not. There's some younger women that still have school age kids that are coming to these parties. And sometimes their neighbors are a little bit younger. But overall, I would say these women are in their late 50s to 70s. Okay, it's that age group. And I've always loved that age group. And the reason why I love that age group is when they say they're going to come, they come. Okay, they don't flake, they show up. They don't have to call home and ask their husband if they can buy a garlic press or a food chopper. If they want it, they will buy it. Okay, they're like me. I'm over that. I'm not. If I called my husband and asked him if I could buy something, he would say no. Okay. And I noticed a lot of the younger ones, well, I have to ask my husband, I have to go home and blah, blah, blah. And this age group, they don't do that. They just pull out that credit card if they want it. And, I found that even though they thought they didn't need anything, even though they thought they had everything in their kitchens they needed, when they come to the party and they see how Pampered Chef has changed, they're blown away. Okay, they're absolutely blown away with our product line now. And they had no idea. They're thinking it's still all baking stones and food choppers. They don't have a clue how our product line has changed and how the techniques that we're teaching and the tips have changed over the years. So I would tell you, if you get them there, just get them there. Tell them they don't have to buy anything. Just come for the fun of it. Just come hang out with us for a little while. When you get them there, they realize there are a lot of things they don't have in their kitchen or things that need to be updated. Okay, a lot of people my age are giving things to kids and buying newer and better for themselves. Okay, so a lot of that kind of stuff is happening. So anyway, typically how this works is most of my parties are at 4:30 in the afternoon now. Okay, happy hour kind of thing is how it's promoted. Cocktail time, happy hour. Hold the parties at 4:30. I go at 4. I'm home around 7. And it's like, hello, I'm loving this. Now, I am in this area where a lot of women don't work anymore. So they're available during the day and they don't really want to be out at night. So it depends on your market, what time of day is going to work. But I'm going to tell you, any time of day can work depending on your crowd. So I do an interactive cooking show where I set up usually 3 different little cooking stations. Now that doesn't mean 3 recipes. That means 3 little cooking stations. It might be 1 or 2 recipes. I typically do an A and a B recipe. For those of you that have been around for a while, you know what I mean. An A is like a main recipe that uses some big products or quite a few products. And then the B recipe is usually something very, very simple. So some examples might be of a B recipe, turtle fudge skillet cake, where I'm showing a skillet and maybe a few mixing or measuring tools, but not a lot of product. So I keep it very, very simple. I go 30 minutes early. I set up these stations in her kitchen. So, I just find 3 different locations in her kitchen so I can kind of spread the crowd out. And I'll group together the products with the ingredients that they're going to need for that particular station. And I have a little step-by-step instruction sheet at each station that tells them exactly what they're going to do at that station, what products they're going to use and what they're going to do with those products. And then if you're smart, at the end of your little station, you'll say, please help our hostess by washing your tools when you've completed these steps. Okay, that will help you a lot as a consultant if you don't have all these dirty dishes to have to wash up when you're done. So, and it's interesting to watch the dynamics of the crowd, because some of them are the worker bees and the doers, and they get right in there and help with the recipe. Others don't want to really do the cooking part, but maybe they'll do the cleanup part, that kind of thing. Some people just mill around because they're interested in seeing what everybody else is doing. But that's kind of how the setup goes. And some of the recipes I do are really old. Okay, I'm not hauling an air fryer to somebody's house, or these heavy things. I just can't do it anymore. So I do a lot of simple things like the tangy pepper pecan brie with the turtle skillet cake. That's what I did at that $7,000 party. I did those 2 recipes. Okay, sold a ton of skillets, of the 12-inch skillets, because these women are looking at this skillet thinking this is so much nicer than my cookware. So I sold a lot of the 12-inch skillet. Another one I do a lot is I do a charcuterie class, and I'll just, demonstrate putting a board together, and I'll ask for a couple people to come up and help me. I'll put somebody making a rose, somebody spreading the cheese and crackers, and we'll do an olive tapenade. So I show the manual food processor and quite a few other tools with that. So it just shows some fun little prepping tools. And when I do a charcuterie class, I'll usually do a tomato mozzarella tray with basil, tomato, mozzarella, and I use the quick slice for all of that. I sell 1 million of those quick slices when I do that, and I do it on the small entertaining platter. I display it on that. So, it's just kind of a nothing recipe, but it shows some really good products. Another thing I do a lot is the cheesy chicken nacho dip and fajita and Rita parties. I have a margarita punch that you make that makes a big punch bowl full of margarita mix, and I'll do the chicken fajitas in the microwave. I mean, it's just super easy stuff that I do. So anyway, just to give you an idea, I'm not doing these elaborate meals or fancy things at all. So when I get there, while I'm setting up, I kind of chat with my host a little bit and, get to know her a little better, what she's all about, and ask her a little bit about who's coming and who do you think might book a party? Because if she'll give me some ideas, it's easy to watch for those people when they come. Yeah, because she thinks they'll be the ones that might book a party. So I kind of do all that while I'm setting up. It really only takes me about 15 to 20 minutes to set up. So the tools that we need for the recipe prep are in her kitchen area with these stations. The rest of the things that I always take, I just set up in her family room. I might put them on a fireplace hearth or on her coffee table or sit them around the room, but rarely do I set up a table and do a formal display, only if she has a table out for me while I use it. But I just sit things around the room. It's just super casual. And I usually greet the guests as they're arriving. I'm usually set up and ready to greet people as they're coming in the door. And I love to do that. I love to greet the people because it kind of breaks the ice between me and them. And I literally will take them into the area where we're going to be working and have them fill out a name tag. And I'm huge on name tags because I'm not a name person and I cannot remember these people's names. I usually can remember something about them, but I can't remember their names. So I have them with a big marker, make a name tag so I can see across the room what their name is and kind of, call them by name when possible. So after the guests get there, I give them usually 10 to 15 minutes to get everybody in, get a name tag, get something to drink. They're visiting and all of that. And after about 10 to 15 minutes, when I feel like the bulk of our crowd is there, I start with my intro. And I do not wait for people that are late. Okay, that's my number one thing I try to teach consultants, because you might wait 30 minutes for somebody that says they're going to be late and they never show up. And now you got people that are going to have to leave before you're done. And you don't want that to happen. You want to get going, but you want to give them a little bit of social time. So that's kind of what I do. And then I go into my introduction. And I'm going to try, this is so hard with you guys, but I'm going to try to kind of go into show mode here. Donna said, give us some show mode, but I'm so casual at my shows. I don't have a scripted thing and I don't always say the same thing. So I'm going to try here. Hi guys, my name is Cindy Sparling and I'm going to be your consultant tonight or this afternoon or whatever it is. And I'll say, I'm super excited to be here. And I can tell you guys are too. I can tell you're going to be a super fun crowd today. So I want to start by thanking Nancy, our fabulous host. Nancy has just been it's such a privilege to work with you. You've made my job.
Did she freeze? Okay. Oh no, Cindy. She's frozen. Oh darn. Can we message her? I know, I love what she's saying. Come back.
I'll text her.
Okay.
Maybe she can refresh her internet.
Sometimes she loses internet.
Probably because she's so remote, I think she said.
Yeah. Let me see what she says.
Wow.
And if she has her phone in front of her, she might have it where she.
Oh, we just lost her. So she'll be back.
I am loving a $7,000 show
Yeah.
on turtle fudge skillet cake and
5,000,
pecan brie.
5,000, some really
Oh my
big.
God.
How about the
Yeah.
4:30 in the
Oh.
afternoon? Wow, would that be nice?
Yeah, she
Yeah,
said
right.
her power just went out. She's gonna come back on her phone.
Okay.
Happy hour.
I know.
Oh my
I
God,
love
this is
that.
so refreshing. What is old is new again. I am
Olive
loving.
tapenade. What the heck? Remember olive tapenade? Jeez,
Made it
I
in
had
the
to go
batter
look it
bowl
up. I'm
with
like,
the shape.
no, it was.
I'm assuming she was using that lightweight blue bowl to mix up her
Yeah.
turtle. I was trying to visualize it in my mind what she
Yeah.
brought, you know?
You did it on the crostinis or the bread
Yes,
or
I
whatever.
remember that. It was a good recipe.
Oh, it was a great recipe. I actually had to look it up. I'm like, I remember that olive tapenade. It's here somewhere.
I think she had to
That's
find
what
it.
we need to bring back. We need to have home office bring back
Sweet
to
olives.
like really do an oldies but goodies theme, because those recipes are amazing. And as she's showing us, you can sell anything without even having it.
Yeah.
And
I did the
I was shocked that there was no quick cooker or air fryer.
Yeah. She's not even taking those things.
I did the olive
Nancy
tapenade
Joe
with the
just
flex.
did a show, didn't she?
What
Nancy
did you
Joe
say, Carolyn? You did the olive
I said-
tapenade with the,
With the flex. I used the flex tool to do the food processor, and I had to just find an olive tapenade in a I just found it on the website somewhere. I just Googled it, but it was super easy, and the flex was big enough to hold everything. So then you could just put it in the serving dish that your host had. So I only had the flex to wash, and I try to use the host serving stuff, so I'm not washing
Amazing.
a bunch of stuff.
Amazing. Yeah, I love that.
Did Cindy come back?
No, I haven't seen her.
So is Nancy Joe still with us? I know she had to jump off her.
No, not yet. Did she? Oh, maybe she did.
No, I'm still here. I'm still here.
Share about you had a party and you did not bring any of the power tools, but you told them, what did you tell them if they wanted to see the power tools?
I said, if you'd like to see, I put a couple of the little videos on the Facebook portion of the, we had a little Facebook group, but we were doing a live party. Okay. So I did put some of the products in action from the videos from the company, but I told them that if they wanted to see them at work in my kitchen, that you could take a field trip to my house. And it was a group of older people, and the party, I'm just closing it. It's going to be probably at least $2,000 with 12 people. One person was 65, everybody else was over 70. And this isn't about just selling to the geriatric crowd, but because I had two other parties that they closed out at 2,300, a group in their 40s, another group, their ages were all over the place, 3,300, another group of 12 people, and probably in their 40s, 50s, that was 2,700. You guys, And again, I was done in 2 hours, driving home in 2 hours. The last one I did, I figured all these people were much older. So I thought, we really didn't know how many people were going to come. We did it at the lodge, at their little condominium place. And so we had RSVPs for 2. Well, my sister said, Nancy, there will be people show up because they always show up for food. Okay. So we were laughing. So I said, well, let's make something that we're going to want to snack on this weekend. So we made cool veggie pizza.
Oh,
And we
yeah.
made ahead of time. It was all pretty much done except for dressing, with the vegetables. And then I made a chocolate cherry dump cake. Do you guys remember that one in the bar pan? It's almost like a Texas sheet cake. I can't tell you how many bar pans I sold that day, but it's just a couple ingredients. It's a chocolate cake mix. It's two large eggs or 3 medium eggs. It's a teaspoon of almond extract and a can of cherry pie filling. You mix it up, put it in the pan, you bake it. It doesn't take long to bake. And then you make a ganache for the top with just chocolate chips and cream, a little bit of half and half and butter, and it's really good. And then you just pour it over it while it's still warm. They loved it. They all went home with cake, and but super easy, you guys. I agree 100%. It was so much less stress than the virtual, and the sales were off the charts. Sales, people want to gather. So I'll be quiet now. Is Cindy back?
No, she's not back.
Okay.
But one of the things, Nancy, that you shared, and this was what Belinda also shared in the training link, I'll send that all to you. But she talked about when you have your live party is to make sure you're taking pictures of your guests with the products. If you can do a short little video, where a guest would be using, like for Cindy's presentation, that'd be perfect because she has guests that are working with the product. So she's taking that in-home aspect, bringing it to the virtual, whether you have it as an event or Facebook, whatever. And so what's happening is you're going to be getting more people wanting the in-home because they're seeing how much fun it is.
Right. Right. And people are really wanting to gather. They're not saying no, they're too busy because they miss their friends. When you take something away from anyone for a long time, like with what COVID did,
right?
You think twice about saying no now. You really do, because we're unable to do it for so long. So I know that, okay, I will get the rest for you guys when Cindy comes back on. I'll run and get it. But it's
back, but
oh, there you go.
Oh,
Good.
you
All
are.
right.
I'm so
timing.
sorry. Everything just went dark. Our entire neighborhood lost power.
Oh,
No.
well, we
I
filled in
was
the gap
in the
for
middle
you.
of a sentence and boom, everything went dark.
Okay.
Gotta love it. So anyway,
Might have to start all over.
No.
no, I'm not starting all over.
I meant just from the what do you call it?
Intro.
Your intro.
Right. So I start off by introducing myself and thanking my host, and I would like to pump her up. I want to make her, even if she was terrible, I want her friends to think that she was wonderful and it was great working with her. And I give her a little gift. And then I say, I started my business about 27 years ago. I was a stay-at-home mom in Atlanta with 4 little kids, and my husband traveled Monday through Friday. And I thought I started because I wanted a food chopper and a garlic press and some baking stones. But what I've learned over the years is I just really needed an outlet for me. I needed something besides my family. I desperately needed some social interaction with other adults. And I was very shy, believe it or not. And going to these parties really built my confidence. I was having a great time with other adults. And I was getting a paycheck for it. I absolutely could not believe they were paying me to go do this and to have all this fun with other people. So that's kind of how I got started. You know, the reason why I stay is so different now. You know, I've traveled all over the world with Pampered Chef trips that I've earned. I've been able to take my husband and even my family on some of these trips. I've made wonderful friends throughout the years. So it's just great fun connecting with these people and doing things together throughout the year. And the money's not bad either. I'm sorry, I got all these pop-ups coming up on my phone. I absolutely love earning extra income. It's paid for activities for my kids over the years. It's paid for vacations and special family trips. And now that money's being saved for retirement. You know, when I started my business, like I said, it was just to get the products in my kitchen and to have a little bit of fun. And it was never really about running a business. But about 10 to 12 years into my business, my husband came home on a Friday and said, guess what? I don't go to work Monday. His company was shutting down, going out of business, and they had moved us from Atlanta to Texas. And at that point, we had 3 kids in college. We had 3 boys at the University of Texas, and we had our daughter in private school because she has learning disabilities. And so it was like having 4 kids in college. And he says, I don't go to work on Monday. And he looked at me and he said, sweetheart, the honeymoon is over. You need to go get a real job. And that's when it hit me that what was I going to do? I had been out of the workforce for so long. I loved what I did. And I looked at him and I said, I can do this full time. I can make this a full-time job. And that's when the business really took a shift for me. Now I needed the money. It was no longer for the reasons that I started. I needed to bring in extra income into our household. And, you know, this paid for so much of my kids' college and beyond. And now I'm saving for retirement. Now I'm at a different phase in life where I'm saving money for the fun things that I want to do in retirement. So this business can really be anything you want it to be, depending on where you are in your life. So tonight or today, we're going to give you several opportunities. You're going to see some fun products to make cooking and entertaining much easier in your kitchen. We're going to give you the opportunity to host just like Nancy is today, where you can shop free and discounted. And the last opportunity for you is to do what I do, earn some extra income and get it all. Okay, so I'll tell you more about that toward the end, but just keep in mind, lots of opportunities for you here today. But the one thing I really want you to do is to have fun. Just have a good time with us today. You're here, you're with your friends, let go of everything else and enjoy our time together. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to divide up into a couple different stations here in the kitchen. I've got several little cooking stations set up here, and I'm going to give you a quick overview of each station, and I'm going to ask you to pick one, and you're going to actually get to use the tools, because that's the best way to learn how to use them is by getting to use them. So as I go through and I share about each station, think about which tool you see that maybe you would like to try today, and you can go to that station. And of course, if you're a chocolate lover, you can just run right over there to the chocolate cake station, and that can be where you get to lick your fingers and everything. So we're glad you're here. We're going to get cooking now. So that's an example of an opening that I would do. And I literally will walk them through each station briefly. I'm not going to do all the recipe steps, but for example, I might throw something in the manual food processor and process it just a little bit, just so everybody gets to see that product. Or I might take the can opener and say, I want everybody to see this can opener because it's so unique and different than what you may be used to, and I'll open a can so everybody gets to see that. Or if I'm doing something in a skillet, I'm going to hold up the skillet and I'm going to talk about why I love that skillet in front of everybody. Because there are key things that I just really want everybody to see that they might miss if they weren't working at that station. So that's kind of how it starts. And I give them about 10 to 15 minutes. I call it, okay, let's get going. We're going to have organized chaos right now. And it gets very loud. It's very chaotic. People are calling me in all different directions, but They all go to a station, and if they don't go to a station, or if I have a station that nobody goes to, I'll go pick a couple people and say, I need your help over here. Can you help out here? But I want to get all this going so we can knock it out quickly, because I rarely give them more than about 15 minutes to put the food together, and then we put it in the oven or do whatever we need to do with it. And then I gather them all together, and I have what I call a walk through the catalog. So I'll move them into the family room. I take a catalog for each person. I take an order form, just an old-fashioned printed order form for each person. And I take these specials at a glance. It shows all the specials. And so as they come into the room, I give each of them those 3 things. Some people have already found the catalogs and started looking through them, and that's fine, but I want them to have all of those things. One thing I skipped that I forgot to tell you that I do before I even do my intro is I find myself a ticket master. I'll pick out somebody in the crowd that either gets there early or seems to be real social, or knows a lot of people. And I'll say, I need a ticket master. Would you be my ticket master? And they go, well, what does that mean? I said, that means you get to be in charge today. And I give them a whole bunch of double-sided tickets, and everybody that comes gets the ticket. They get a ticket for participating in the prepping, the food prepping. They get a ticket for sharing about a product. And she just literally interrupts me and is handing out these tickets. Like if somebody says, oh, I have the food chopper and blah, 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 she'll run over there and give them a ticket. So it really encourages the guests to be more interactive and to share more. Because I will tell you, when one person talks about something and the others are listening, they all buy that. Okay, they're much more likely to buy the things their friends are talking about than what I'm talking about. So I do have a ticket master, and that works really, really well for me. So we do the food prep, we move into the family room, and I do this walk through the catalog. I hope you guys can see this because I'm on my cell phone, but I literally take a catalog and I use these little stick-on tabs, and I label the key things that I want to show in the catalog. And I just love this new catalog because they've got all the power tools right at the front. So it's real easy to start, and go through a couple of major power tools, 5 or 6 power tools real quickly. And then I have like the griddle mart, then the air fryer, that's kind of the power tools. Then I have one for cookware, rock crock, stoneware, entertaining. I love to show off the stoneware entertaining set, and I do sell a lot of those platters. I have the cool and serve mark here in my community, because a lot of people have boats and a lot of people do covered dish get-togethers. They love the cool and serve products, and they love those insulated bowls. I sell gazillions of those insulated bowl sets, and that's a nice little sell on that set of bowls. But this is what keeps me on task, that I know what I'm going to talk about, and I can easily find it in the catalog. And they're going through their catalog. I'm going, okay, everybody go to page 46 or whatever it is, and we talk about that together while they're looking at it. So I really use the catalog for additional sales. And that's what we want to teach our consultants to do. If they're starting to do live shows, or if they've never done them, you don't have to carry everything with you. People will buy out of the catalog when you describe it and you talk about it and share why they might want it. So the walk through the catalog, that whole segment is what I kind of call my wrap up, really. It probably lasts about 15 to 20 minutes. I do use the old fashioned booking slide when I talk about bookings, because I just think it's such a great visual to flip through this and kind of highlight the key reasons why they might want to book a party. Another little booking trick I have that has worked really well for me over the years is I take the 2 specials for the months I'm working on, usually this month and next, and I put them in little sheet protectors like this. And they do have these on the specials at a glance, but it's really, really small. So what I'll do is I'll give these to 2 different guests. I've had a chance by now, by the time we get to this, to see who the ones are that'll speak up and talk about the products with some excitement and animation. And I'll pick 2 people that I'll give these to, different people. And at this point, I'll say, let's talk about the host bonuses that we have going on at Pampered Chef. And I'll say, Susie, could you tell everybody about the April special for hosts, and she'll talk about what you get, and I'll add to it. If she leaves things out, I'll kind of, add to it and bring it to life. And then I'll have the other one talk about the May. And as they're talking about this, I say to them, well, when you look at these cookware pieces and the bonuses, look at those bonuses on there. Which one would you choose? Okay, and she'll say, an interesting thing happens. Guess who typically books parties? The people you give these to. It's just amazing how that has happened over the years. So there's just a little booking tip for me that works well at the live parties. And then I do a short recruiting deal after the booking deal. I'll usually just take an additional 5 questions where they get extra tickets for asking me a question. You guys know, I hope you know how to do this, but, just give them some ideas of questions they might want to ask you. Like you might want to ask me, how you get started, or what does it cost to get started, or, where is our company located, or blah, blah, blah. I just give them some ideas to get them thinking. And I'll say, okay, ready, set, go. I got 5 extra tickets for the next 5 questions that I get. And I'll answer those questions. And then I have them turn to the inside of the back cover and I show them the starter kits. Obviously, if there is recruiting a new consultant special, I'll mention that. But just show them those kits and those options and let them know they can order that kit just like they can order any product that night. And I'll help them get started. And so then I do my door prize slip. I do make my own door prize slips. I started doing this many years ago. I just print them up and cut them with a paper cutter. But I just didn't like the yes, no kind of blocks. So my door prize slips ask for their information, because sometimes guests leave without ordering. So I want to have, their information somehow. And the choices are, how much would you enjoy getting your friends together for a cooking party? The first one is not in this life. And I usually get a chuckle out of that. Maybe twist my arm. I'm definitely interested. I would like to do virtual or catalog. I'm interested in bridal showers and fundraisers. Or I'd like more information on getting over $1,000 in products for a $249 investment. That needs to be updated, I guess, to $259. But anyway, that's what it is. And I just give them a minute to fill that out. I literally wait for them to fill those out. Okay. And I'll be telling them a little bit about how the checkout's going to work while they're filling those out. So I'll do 3 prizes with the tickets. Okay, because I really do want to reward them for participating. So it might be a season's best cookbook and a citrus peeler or a pan scraper or, 2 twisted clips or something like that. But I'll have little things that I use as giveaways with the tickets. And then I take something nicer, like maybe a mini spatula or something I have around here that I will do with the door prize slip, because I want them to fill out this door prize slip. So I do give away quite a few things, but they're not costly at all. I don't give the world away. I mean, I'm running a business here. So the other key thing is tell people how to order with you. And y'all will die laughing. My very, very first party, I'll never forget this. I was so nervous. I was just a wreck. I cut myself. I was bleeding. I forgot to finish the first recipe. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. But anyway, we got through it all. Had a wonderful hostess. We got through it all. And they all went to fix food and they started eating. And I'm sitting on one side of the room all by myself watching them eat for 45 minutes. They're all sitting over there eating and chatting, and nobody is ordering. Nobody. And I'm thinking, nobody's going to buy anything. And then all of a sudden, about 20 minutes before the school bus was supposed to come through and drop all these kids off, they all ran over to me. I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go. And they're throwing these orders at me. And that's when I realized I had no idea how to write up an order form. I didn't even have a clue what I was doing. So I learned in that very first party, always tell people how to order with you. Tell them what the process is going to be and how it's going to work. So I'll say something like, okay, now food is ready. I'm going to turn you guys loose. Thanks for being such a great audience. I've had so much fun with you today. Here's how this is going to work. I'm going to set up over here at Susie's desk, okay, to take orders. If you need to leave early, come grab me and I'll do your order first. If you're not in a hurry, just go ahead and drop your order form in there, then go fix a plate so you guys can be eating and visiting and socializing, and I'll be doing all the math stuff. and figuring that up. And then you can just come check back with me for your payment. Because I do want them to come to me because I want to have a chance to talk to everybody in my checkout. So I found it was just really, really important to let people know how to order. The other thing Donna asked me to highlight was my host coaching. And really, it's very simple. It's very, very simple. I think it's simpler to host coach for a live party than for virtual parties. But in my initial email with them after they booked about, 2 to 3 weeks before their party, whenever it is. Sometimes they're booking for the next week. You never know. But I will send them a picture invitation that I make for their party. I just do it in Canva, so I can just change them up for each host. It tells, it has the order link in there for them to order. And I'll send them that with a detailed little email explaining the importance of attendance, to invite 50 or more people, because only about 20 to 25% of those will attend. And our goal is to have 15 to 20 people sitting at their house during the party. So I explain all of that. And then about a week before the party, I check on attendance to see how that's going. We finalize what recipe we're going to do if we haven't already done that. And about 2 days before the party, sometimes 3 days before the party, I'll reach out to her again to make sure she's reminding everybody. And at that point, I'll send her a detailed ingredient list of exactly what to buy and how I want it. Because I don't want her to go ahead and chop up the onions or whatever. But I do want her to wash everything, and I want her to separate the food by categories that I send her. So it's just easy for me to set up those stations when I get there. And then if it's iffy, if I have a host where attendance is really iffy, I'll call her the day of the party, just to make sure that she's not had a bunch of cancellations, and just to kind of let her know I'm heading your way. I'm excited, that kind of thing. And then after the party, I spend about 15 minutes with my host. I sit down with her after the guests leave, or most of them leave, and I go over her sales. And I help her make a list of who she needs to follow up with. I found that's critical, to literally help her write down the names of the people that either left without ordering or couldn't attend, or had mentioned to her that they might want to order, so that she knows who to follow up with. And we set a goal for collecting these outside orders. My average show goes up probably $300 to $500 at least with outside orders. That $7,000 show that Donna referenced in January, she was at $2,500 when I left her house. Okay. And she looked at me, and I will tell you, she was a very competitive host. She was a fabulous host. And she said to me, "What's the biggest party you've ever had?" And I said, "Well, it's about $5,000. And she said, "I'm going to beat that." I said, "You go for it, girl." And I gave her a whole month. That's the wonderful thing now. We can go ahead and turn in the orders we have. But she worked on that for the entire month until she got it up over $7,000. It was crazy. So you got to love that. So really, really, a lot of my coaching is those extra orders after the party, because it's made such a huge difference in my sales. So that's it. I hope it's not too much stuff you guys already know, but my parties are just super casual. They're nothing fancy. I just think people believe me when I talk about these products and why they might want them in their kitchens. And we just have a good time together.
Well, Cindy, I'm sure it has a lot to do with your passion, and we hear that in your voice. So I'm sure we have a few people that have questions. So let's go over to gallery view so we can see if anyone does have any questions for Cindy as we're wrapping up.
As you're doing that, Donna, I just want to congratulate Cindy on a wonderful training. I mean, this is so refreshing, and it's, we have been in front of the computer for so long, and it's just so good to hear all different ways to be able to do what we do. And so thank you for taking the time. Someone asked about words. You guys just listen to the recording again and type your own words. Okay. I hope you don't mind me saying that. You don't have to type everything out. And Cindy, you and I are a lot alike when it comes to, I don't ever say the same thing twice, the same anyway. And I know Donna's like that too, but you really did a phenomenal job. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, absolutely. Any other questions?
I have a question. I know before COVID and all, I've taken different trainings and different retreats and whatever, and they've all, some people said, I require a minimum number of guests at a party before I will go. And then of course, Nancy Jo just said she did her big show where she had 2 confirmed. Do you have a set number or like a minimum that you want to, want at the party for you to show up?
No, I really don't, because I'm gonna tell you, in all my many years, I have done parties with 2 and 3 people, and somebody became a consultant that then became a director on your team. You never know who those 2 or 3 people might be that are in that room. So I would just never say I won't come, but I do try to set the expectation that we want to have 15 to 20 people, okay, in that room.
Great, thanks, Cindy. Anyone else? All right, thank you so much, Cindy. So appreciate your time. It was an amazing training. I know everybody has they're all refreshed and ready to go and do their live parties. So Nancy Jo, I think you are going to wrap us up with some information on the national conference.
Yes, yes. So excited, you guys. There will be a pre-conference training. Woohoo! Pampered Chef has worked it out so that we are going to be able to have a large room like years before. We have a room for 1,400, and I'm really hoping that you'll be able to join us. It's going to be at 7:30 to 9:30. We'll get the details to you later, but we wanted you to plan. Don, I hope that doesn't interfere with your
Nancy, did I miss what day it is?
Wednesday. I'm sorry, Wednesday. Okay. You're right. I didn't say that. So Wednesday, 7:30 to 9:30. And we're so excited to gather together. For those of you that have been in our pre-conference training before, it kind of kicks off conference with popcorn training and recognition. And for those of you that have been before, would you put in one word, what was your favorite part of pre-conference training? So the newbies who have never been before, please know that this is what you can look forward to. Okay, so those of you that have been, the chat should be flying. Okay. Testimonials, Marna Ross here. We're hoping we can get Anita Bath to do a live presentation, and of course the Patty and Marie show. I mean, there's fun. There's sometimes some tears. It's one of my favorite parts of conference, to be honest with you. So we weren't going to be able to do that, and somehow Pampered Chef found a way. So we're very, very thankful. So Wednesday night, get there. Very excited. So let your teams know there's plenty of room for everybody in our organization. So downline. So, okay. Anything else that you or Patty or Marie want to add?
No, I think I'm good. I just wanted to say, Cindy, thank you so much. You're right. That was very refreshing. Yeah. I don't know. I just can't. I said, you are so thoughtful. So I don't know. You're easy to talk to. Like people, I'm like, oh yeah, like, well, I would do that. I would join in. I would cook. I would come to the show. Yeah, it was great. Thank you so much. I loved remembering about what we used to have. So, and I love the fact that you don't take all those big products with you. What up with that? I'm carrying major appliances.
Oh, I can't do it. Use your catalog.
Yeah.
Cindy, another thing that you did was you exuded confidence and calmness that they will want to do this for themselves. And it's a natural thing for you to want to do a party and to let me help you equip your kitchen kind of thing, that your confidence in our product, in what we have to offer. I mean, that little party that only had 2 people RSVP. The host got $490 worth of free merchandise. So that's awesome. You know what I'm saying? We really do have the best host program. We need to sell the host program. You don't necessarily need to give more stuff, you guys. You need to sell what we've got. All right. Know your host program and let your host know what your average party is and what your average host receives. I think that's really, really important. And you can still have the little virtual side of it for those people that are out of town. But seriously, dive in if you haven't done it before, dive back in if you have. It's been really a blast, really a blast. Thank you.
It's fun for us too. I mean,
Yes.
it's fun for us too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Cindy. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. This was great. Thank you. Okay, should I stop the recording?
Yes.
We don't lose this? Yeah, okay.